Good morning, this is Matt over at MilestoneCapitalGrowthPortfolio.com, and this is a video request for AMBA. And what we're going to do is start from the top and work our way up on time frames. And this is just a technical outlook. This has nothing to do with fundamentals. Fundamentals we do not get involved with, just purely technicals, because supports and resistance make all the difference on a move, and that's what we're looking at. So we're going to start out here on the hourly for AMBA, and you can notice a couple things here that are pretty important. On the hourly, you can see a stochastics is starting to cross and get ready to come down to the downside. We can't make higher highs here. And you can see here, if we run this trend line off of these candles here, which has been resistance, at this point right now you have broken into an uptrend on an hourly. Okay, so unless you get back under the middle Bollinger Band, or this line here, you still have an uptrend in place. Okay, so basically what you want to work with is the opposite direction. So we'll just have to use this last candle here, because this red candle will act as support also. You can use it off the base and run it this way. So if we use this candle here, you could see this hourly has crossed down from that current trend that was in place on the hourly. No big deal. Again, this is the hourly. This isn't long term or short term. It's very, very short term, just a trade setup. So moving on to the daily, okay, we're just switching over. And you can see a relative strength index is right in mid-trade here. It's at 53, okay, and it is a little bit up off of this here. So, this line, like I said, has been broken, okay, and this was the downtrend. So now what you really want to work with, because it's a daily, so you have yesterday and the day before to use right now, because those 2 days have closed out. You're pretty much in a tight situation. Moving the stochastics down here, you could see that eventually it's going to level off, cross, and come to the upside, because when you are at the top and you come down, you'll channel across and then move higher. Okay, and basically that's what's going to take place here. So you have the potential to come up here riding this trend line, but that's your line in the sand. Once this trend line breaks, if it breaks today, then watch out, because it's going to drop and it might compromise this middle Bollinger Band, which would send it into a downtrend. So moving on to the weekly, we have one more day left in this week. Big concern here is this here. If this candle closes underneath this candle, then next week could be a little more down. Now, if you take a look at the relative strength index here, you crossed over the 70, and that was your top. That's this candle here, and you can see how you're starting to cross down. So your trend is actually in a downtrend, okay? And until your relative strength index is a little bit overbought. It was very overbought right here. It was very overbought here, but it seems to level out and trend to the upside. So on a weekly basis, looking a little more long term, you want to run something like this, and that would be your, well, let's pull it right off the bodies of the candles here. Okay. So something like this right here, and this would be a line in the sand for the uptrend on a weekly basis. Okay. So right now you're in a pretty much a very tight trade zone, and the trade zone is coming in similar to this. So you really want to break this on a weekly. So your weekly is still holding on to this downtrend. Your daily and your hourly is starting to show a little bit of an uptrend. But on the weekly basis, if you don't cross this, then it looks like we can continue to the downside. And if this line is compromised, forget it. It's gonna tank, and it'll probably come down to the middle Bollinger Band here at 93. 62 in that area. So let's move it on to the monthly, because that's pretty important itself. As you can see here on the monthly, let's get rid of these drawings again. As you can see on the monthly here, you have your first red candle, and that's pretty important. And you're outside the Bollinger Bands. You have a big extension also to the middle Bollinger Band here. And with that big extension and this being outside the middle Bollinger Band, this really needs to take a break. All right, and you can see your relative strength index is at 89 on the monthly. Okay, and we have, granted, this is just starting the month. We're not in the, we're not towards the end of the month right now. We're only the 6th day into the month. So, depending on where this closes, you can either create a triple top up here at 129. Oh, we're really going to come back in, but the weekly is showing that it's going to come back in, and 93 to 105 was probably going to be best estimates for that. But you know, if you're looking at the quarterly, quarterly's pretty exciting. You know, and if you are in this from down here, you know, basically what you want to do is use your monthly as your trend line if you're going long term with it, okay? And you're not going to reverse the trend to the downside, but you to the downside unless you break, you know, a line like this, or you can speed it up even more and say, okay, well, this is going to be my line in the sand right here. But if you notice, these two candles here on the monthly have already been broken. But again, we're only 6 days into this month here, so it definitely looks like that it needs to take a break and come back inside somewhere in this area. Just because it's so overextended right now. And your stochastics, you know, if you check this out here, you could see we hit the top here and we're starting to cross to the downside. All right, I hope this helps you out. This is Matt over at Milestone Capital Growth Portfolio. And if you'd like to be a member, it's $99 a month. And this is all we do. We evaluate and we look at technicals and trade technicals. And we do a great job and have a blast at the same time. We have a huge member base and a great team inside live chat. And live chat you can take with us anywhere you go. All right, we are mobile. This is Matt, and I will see you on the other side. Have a great day.